Hello everybody, welcome to our channel Tidbits. Today we are going to talk about Dell R620 server. It's one U server, that is one single rack server, and I bought this server for doing a lot of practice at home, wherein I can create virtual lab. I can actually create virtual machines and have a lot of practice for my own study and research purpose. I will talk more about things I've done with this server after buying it. It's second hand, by the way, and the cost for this was somewhere around $200, $250. It is a very cheap and affordable price, and fortunately I happened to get it near in my near locality. Okay, now this server has a lot of good features and I find it amazing value for money, because if you look at a Ryzen processor, which is an 8-core processor, Ryzen 3700X, it's an 8-core processor, and that is somewhere around $350–400, right, just the processor. But when you buy something like this, you are getting far better performance than a Ryzen processor, and you are getting good value for money. I mean, if you have to compare all the bells and whistles which you get in a desktop PC, you might not get that here, right, in a server, but you will get the job done, right, and the job done beautifully. So I will have a close walkthrough of the entire server here, and I will take you to each and every component and parts of this. And before I open the chassis and talk about more about this server, I'm going to talk about few things about the date when it was shipped and how I got it, because that's important for you to know that we'll get what we pay for, right? So this was actually manufactured in 2012 and shipped after that. So this is almost a decade now, but I think still worth and value for money, and is actually doing the job for me. I'm able to run all my virtual machines on this, and I'm able to work smoothly on this. In fact, I tried mining also on it, but I think for home purpose, mining won't be good, because at some point in time the noise and sound get irritating, right? So again, on the sound part and the noise part, it's not that bad. It is less compared to other servers, because I have seen it, especially other servers of Dell, IBM or HP, where the two rack ones, they're very noise making. The decibel count was more than 100 for them. This one at peak, it is hardly 70 decibels. So now I will talk about the voltage specification also, wherein how much of voltage it is actually taking in a mode where there's not much of load, and also in a mode where there's like fully utilized, like all the cores are utilized, right? So I'm going to talk about the voltage consumption also, and the noise part as well. I'll put somewhere in the description when I'm going to talk about that. So voltage is hardly 330 at peak, and sound is hardly 70 decibel at peak, and that's it. Okay, now it's not more than that. It's not horrible, it's not very audible. It is good, you can actually keep it in a corner, and you can work, and it is not going to bother you or disturb you. It's silent compared to any other server in the market. Okay, now let's talk about the server. Okay, if you see here, there are two USB 2.0 port, and if you see here, there's a small button which is like a menu navigation button. You get a display here, and then with this buttons you can actually shift the modes on the display, like what do you want to show here, the temperature part, the error part, and a lot of things you'll get here, a lot of options you get here, and you can just put it navigate using these buttons. If you look at these two drives here, they are the SAS hard drive. They are a little bit different from the drive which we use normally in our PC, in our desktop. But the best part is you can actually put your desktop hard drives also here in these slots. Okay, so you can actually put an SSD also in this. So let me open this. Okay, now see, with this I actually got I've got close to all the 8 drives filled in. I mean, I really got a nice and good deal. But if you see the inventory as to how it was ordered and shipped by the company in 2012, it was only 4 drives that they have ordered, not much. Okay, now the best part with this server is you can actually put SSD to get the maximum and the best performance. But I don't find the need for having an SSD in this server. Not that good. I just needed to have many different virtual machines running on it, right? So my virtual machines will be running on an SSD, but not in these drive slots. I'll tell you where I kept my SSD. Okay, so if you see this part here, wherein it talks about the DVD drive, this one is not a DVD drive because I have taken out the DVD drive from here, and I have actually kept an SSD inside that. So all my virtual machine and my OS, right, and the hypervisor OS, that is what we call it, right? Here in this case is Windows Server 2019. I have tried other OS also, XCP. I have tried various other operating systems, and after that I settled down to Windows because that's more graphical user interface and that's more user friendly to work on. Okay, now if you check, let's continue with this, the buttons and panel part. If you see this part here, it is the service tag and all this information here, and service code, everything. A very nice way they have kept it, because when you call Dell for support, you really need to have this handy, right? So they have given you this information here. You can pull up and you can do that. There's a VGA port also in front, because a lot of times the server is facing this side and you can't go back and put a cable. So for an IT technician or administrator, it is difficult to connect, right? So it's easy when you have a VGA port in front. So that way it's helpful. For me, it doesn't make any sense because I can actually keep it in a corner and I can plug it through RJ45 and access it, right? So these are the 8 drives. Like I said, 8 drives. You can keep SSD also in it if you want fast performance. I hope I'm not missing anything here. Okay, so 2 USB ports, 1 power button, okay, 1 small indicator of the power, 1 LED screen, LCD screen, and you have VGA port and drives. I think that's all here, but let's go back and see what all we have in the back port. Okay. Okay guys, so turning on the back side of the server, there's a lot of ports and a lot of things to look at here, and it's very interesting, to be honest. I think I have a lot of different ports and different connections out here. But before we have a walkthrough of this, let me quickly tell you what all we have got when someone actually originally ordered from Dell. They have got this 4 Intel. You see this 4 Intel. This is the Intel network card. These are the 4 Broadcom 1 GB network card. These are both 1 GB, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 8 network ports, RJ45 ports, and they are at the speed of 1 GB. And then we have 2 SFP plus. Okay, these are 2 SFP plus 10 gig network, and they don't have the adapter in it. I mean, you can buy an adapter that will cost you somewhere around $50 to $70. So if you go to AliExpress or Amazon, you can buy those 10 gig adapters also, and then you can have a 10 gig network connection as well. So now we have these say this port, which is again a VGA port in the back. You can actually connect your monitor to this one. You have 2 USB ports here, and you have an iDRAC port. So iDRAC is something like an operating system through which you can actually communicate to the server and can work on the initial first window of the server when it turns on, right? So even if the server is turned off, you can actually access a lot of things at the server level. It's like accessing the BIOS, right? So you can access a lot of things. You can turn on, turn off with this OS, which can be controlled by this connectivity. So iDRAC is a very good feature. Not all the servers get iDRAC by default because they have to buy a license for that. Fortunately, I got a license for this one, and when I turned it on, this was working for me. So this is one good feature. Talking about power supply. Okay, that's also good. So we have two power supply. As you see here is 750, it says, right? So two different 750 power supply with a platinum grade. So that's the best thing. So if you see, they have given a number coding also 1 and 2, right? So I can plug in any of the port and I can run. So need not be like two running together. Usually the two power supplies are there to ensure you have resiliency in place, right? I mean, if one turns off, your server should be running. Usually that happens in the production environment, right? People don't want to take any downtime impact. So for me it's okay, because I think if this turns off or if there's anything that goes wrong, I can always connect it to another power supply. So both of them are working for me. And when you have only one power supply connected, at the front LCD screen you get a message that the other one is not working, or the other one is not turned on. But that's okay, you can actually navigate the button and you can ignore that, and that error message will not be showing up. Okay, now let's go and check how it looks like from inside, okay, from the internal side. But before we go on, there are some nice pictorial representation of the internal components here, and there's a QR code also, which will give you more information through downloading manuals, right? The same information can be found on the Dell website, when you can actually scan the QR and you can download. Okay, now talk about how to open it. There's a latch here. This latch you can lock it also, and this is unlock also. So if you pull it up, right, there are two symbols here. If you see again, lock symbol, this one says unlock and this one says lock, right? I hope you can see this. Yeah, unlock and lock, right? So this screw is unlocked now. So if you turn it this side, it's lock, right? So if you pull it up and if you push it, that's it, it's open inside. Okay, before you go to the inside and internal components, let's have a look how beautifully they have given everything as like user friendly. I mean, all the component, every detail of the component, how to replace the parts, everything is on the panel itself. In fact, how to install memory, even that is there, right? So I mean, they have given a lot of information for someone to work on it. Okay, now before we go through all these components and all the parts here, I just want to quickly take a pause here and talk about that SSD which I have installed. If you remember, I was talking about the DVD drive. I've replaced that with SSD. This is over here, right? So this is the SSD I actually got installed, and it's a 1 terabyte SSD on which I'm actually keeping my virtual machines and also my virtual machine operating system, like Windows Server 2019, right? Like I said, I have tried multiple operating systems, ESXi, XCP, and I have tried Proxmox, and I have tried Windows Server also. But I like the Windows Server because it's actually good. The Windows Server is really good, and it's user friendly and easy to work for people like me. The server comes with two configuration. One is with 8 drives. The one which I have it here is 8 drives, right? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So there's another one which comes with 10 also. Okay, so this one is with 8. Okay, now let's go one by one. Let's talk about what are they. Drives are here, correct? And these are the fans, and they are very easily replaceable. You just have to plug them out, and okay, so this can be taken out only if that is taken. Yeah, so that's how the fan looks like. Okay, it's easy replaceable, no wires, no plugs to it. It is just plug and play, because when you work in a production environment, people find it easy to take out the plugs and put them back, the components, put them back, easy to replace, and it doesn't give you a downtime, right? You don't have to turn it off and lose the production hours. You can just take it out and plug it back. Okay, so let's go over. So I'll go from here to here. So I have kind of covered the hard disks, right? I've covered the SSD. I've covered the fans, right? The fans are connected without any wires, like I said. The drives, right? This whole part is connected via this thick cable. You see this thick cable here, right? This thick cable going around here to the RAID controller. I'll come here in a minute. So let me take out this shield here. It's very easy to take out. See, it's you find it fun working with a server because it's very easy when it comes to replacing parts. Okay, now let's talk about memory. Okay, so when you look at the memory, there are a lot of open slots with blank dummies in it, right? This is how they have kept it, right? You can just install them as how you install your memory. The reason that they keep it because there shouldn't be any dust in these slots, right? So they keep it full. Okay, so there are close to 20 slots, right? There are exactly 20 slots, 12 plus 8, 20 memory slots in this. When it was shipped, right, in 2012, it came with only 4 GB RAM to the owner, the original owner, and there were 4 GB, 4 sticks. But when I got it, this guy was kind enough to give me these extra RAMs. So it has 8 GB memory sticks, and there are close to 9 sticks. So 9 into 8 is 72 memory. 72 GB of memory is there in this, and all these memory sticks are 1600 megahertz. The one which was shipped along with this initially was 1333 megahertz, and that too there were only 4 sticks of 4 GB, so total 16 GB was given. But now I have 72 GB and 1600, which is a good bump in the memory spec, and I'm really happy with the memory part also, because for virtual machines, the more memory you have, the better it is, because you'll be able to allocate memory to different virtual machines. For example, you're running a Windows virtual machine, right? You can actually allocate 16 GB to a Windows memory machine, right? And then you can have now another 16 GB being allocated to a Linux machine, right? And you can always keep 8 GB for the host operating system, which is nothing but Windows Server 2019. And so that way you can have a good number of virtual machines. It's always easy and good to have extra memory sticks, because more the memory stick, more the virtual machines you can have. Yeah, with that being said, processor also comes into place, because number of cores also decide, right? So let me talk about my processor now. So these are the two processors. As you know, server runs on multiple CPUs also, unlike your desktop. Server have different specs compared to a desktop PC. So these are the two CPUs, right, we have here, and they both are actually Intel Xeon E5 2620, which is 2 gigahertz, right? So internal cache is 15 MB, and they take 95 watts approximately when they are on full load, right? So again, it's good. I have 8 cores here, 8 cores here, right? Total 16 cores are there, and with hyper threading it gets to 32 cores, right? So I think even if I take 16 cores, that means I can easily have somewhere around 6 virtual machines, right, in this easily, 6 virtual machine easily, leaving aside 2 more cores for the host operating system. So 6 virtual machine we can have easily, and then I can actually allocate this 72 GB of RAM into that 6 virtual machines, right? Equally I can divide. Okay, now if you see this port here is very interesting. It's a USB internal port to which the DVD drive is connected, right? You see it here, the DVD drive is connected. So my SSD is now running at a USB 2.0 speed, which is still okay, because the speed what I get here is better than a normal traditional 2.5 hard drive, right? So that's the reason I said there's a limitation here when it comes to speed of the data of the hard drives also. But SSD is good if you keep it that way. Even 128 GB or 250 GB of SSD is good enough for you to run virtual machines and the host operating system. Okay, now you see here a white pen drive. I kept it here inside because I like experimenting with and playing around with different host operating system. I like to learn, right? I like to explore. So there are a lot of different operating system installed on this one. I forgot the name of that utility or software which helps you put a lot of different operating system in a one pen drive, and you can install them. I'll actually put a link here in the description, and I'll put it on the screen also, the name of the OS which you can use to put multiple operating system. So I have ESXi here in this pen drive. I have XCP-ng here in this pen drive. I have some Linux server also in it, right? There are a lot of different virtual machine operating system also here in this, like Windows, right? And we have Ubuntu also in it. We have Linux Mint also in this. And so it's good to have these things already here. So 64 GB pen drive connected to a USB 2.0 port. Okay. A CMOS battery, okay, and okay, so I'll take a little bit of time here on explaining this card, okay, because this is important. With my server, this card which I got, this RAID controller card which I got is actually a card which has a lesser speed than the one which actually were being manufactured and shipped after 2015. Okay, mine was 2012, like I said. So 2015 ones got the PERC card, PERC RAID controller card. The one which I have is the H710. Okay, there are two types of card in this one. One with a lesser speed and the other one with a higher speed. Mine is 6 GB per second. The one which is with a higher speed, which I'm talking about, which were shipped after 2015, were the one with 8 GB per second. So the advantage with those cards was you can actually have a hard drive installed in all these slots, right? So you can install hard drive in all these slots here, and they all can actually be run on a RAID 1, RAID 0 or 1+0 configuration, and you will find a better performance, very fast. Okay, but that's okay, because that's good if you're actually running a web server or any other mission critical things on it. Here on this I don't need all that, right? I just have to run virtual machines, and I'm getting very good performance on virtual machine with this drives. So not required for me. This speed, this RAID controller is also good enough for me. Okay, now let's talk about okay, this is an important thing which you have to remember, because there is a code behind this. So if you take out the card, you will see a code behind the card, this controller, and that code will tell you whether this one has an 8 GB or whether this has a 6 GB per second speed. Okay, that one is very important. Just check that out when you buy a server like this. Okay, so normally we have PCI slots in our desktop. Here in server, the PCI slots are actually a little bit different, and you just have to, difficult for me to pull it out using one hand, but let me try here. So 4-port RJ45 card, this is how it is installed in a server. Okay, in a server it is installed like this. So if you see down below, this is the PCI slot, right, how you have in a desktop. So on this PCI slot, your network card is installed. Okay, so this line here, right, this line here will go in this one, right, when you put them upside down. So then you can use this card with the 4 ports, the 4 RJ45 ports. Okay, let me keep it aside for a minute and let me talk about 10 gig card. So this is the 10 gig card, Intel card. This one is the Broadcom card. This is the Intel 10 gig card. So I have used one PCI slot because of this card, but there's one more PCI slot left which I can use later on. Right, so let me put it back. I think that's all I have here. Okay guys, so I have actually installed and this card which we have taken out. It's easy, it's just plug and play like any other component here, right? But for you to take out any other part other than fan, you have to turn off the server, right? The fan are good enough, like you can just plug and play. You can just go ahead and replace them without turning off the server. Okay, now power supply, I think we have shown you, it's easy to take out. You just have to press this and you have to pull it out, right? So press this lever here and then pull it out. It's easy to do that. So 2 power supplies. One thing I forgot to tell you about, the way server work, especially this Dell server, is different than the desktop in terms of how we install the operating system. I will have another video to it, but just to give you a heads up, in a server, it is not that you just install operating system on any of the drive you want to, or you install any data anywhere. You have to use them as one group. You have to use them as one group, as like suppose there is a 250 GB hard drive here, and then all the 8 slots are filled with 250 hard drive. Then they will be giving you a total storage, and they will be seen as one single hard drive after you cross the BIOS, right? So you turn on your server, you go to your Windows installation, and then when you see that in the installation part, you will see one single hard drive, which is like all the 250 GB hard drive, 8 250 GB hard drive. So it is very important that you understand this, because Dell, the way it works is this controller over here, right? This controller is a RAID controller, right? So it will club up all these hard drives in a RAID configuration, like 1, 0, 10, 50, 60, 1 plus 0. These are all the type of RAIDs you can have. For example, 1 means you can actually have your data being stripped across multiple hard drives, right? So let's say 10 GB is 8 GB is coming, right? So 1 GB will go to all the drives. So that's RAID 1. RAID specification 0. RAID 1 is about mirroring. RAID 1 is mirroring. RAID 0 is stripping. RAID 0 is where you actually go ahead have the data being stripped across all the different drives. So let's say your 8 GB is coming, 1 GB will go to each and every drive, right? And they will be getting distributed, right? For the operating system and for you will see that drive as one single drive in the operating system. There will not be multiple drives wherein you can choose where you want to copy your music, movies and all that, right? You can't do that here with a server. Because of this RAID controller, it actually makes you create a RAID of these 8 drives as soon as you turn on your system, right? And then once you turn on your system, you have created, let's say, RAID 1, and you want to have a good amount of data backup mirroring, right? Then you go for this solution as RAID 1. But if you want speed, let's say you want your operating system to be fast, your VMs to be fast, then you can install you can have your RAID 0 configuration. The software will tell you, once you log in, it will tell you what you want to what and how you can configure your RAID setup. So you'll get options when you turn it on, right? RAID setup is an option given there. So I'll show it to you also, maybe in some other video. So with that being said, so the moment you turn on, you have to choose which RAID you want, 1, 0, depending on your choice, you will get it. 1 plus 0 is the RAID which will give you both speed and backup, right? Because that will give you mirroring as well as stripping of the data. So that's also a good choice. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might be aware of how RAID works, but it's just for those people who don't know much about RAID and they're looking at a server spec is first time. So that's how this Dell server works. The moment you turn it on and you go to across the BIOS screen, you have to configure the RAID and you have to use it as one single drive. But there is a hack also, which I was talking about, the second generation of these RAID controller, which were produced and shipped in 2015 with 8 gig. Like I said, they are the one which can be modified and a firmware can be installed on that. And if you install the firmware, it can actually let you bypass and you can go to the operating system with 8 different hard drives in it. You don't have to put a RAID. You always have the freedom and choice to move on to the operating system and then decide what you want to do with individual hard drives. But if you don't have that the firmware installed on that 2015 version card, then you don't have an option. You have to listen to what the RAID controller is saying. You have to create a RAID on these drives and then install the operating system, right? I don't want to go for that RAID controller because I don't find it good, especially from security point of view, because you are installing some firmware which is not even given by the vendor, Dell as a vendor, right? It's not safe. It's not safe to do that. So I want to stick to what vendor has given, and again I'm happy with the performance. Like I said, I don't want an extra speed, because the moment you install the 2015 card, your bottleneck will be these drives. You have to replace them and have SSD in that. So your SSD and that 2015 card will give you good amount of speed. Otherwise, no point in using this mechanical drives with that 2015 version card, right? So you have to change the RAID controller. You have to change the drives also. But I don't want to go that far, because it's not secure, right? And also at the same time, it's not value for money also if you do that, because for me, performance versus what you're paying is more important, right? I'm paying this and I'm getting this performance is good, but there I'm paying good amount of money for the SSDs, and that RAID controller is also expensive, so no point in actually buying that. Fine. So for me, this setup looks good. I have everything here, and I have, like I said, I've actually created a virtual machine to do my forensics work of threat investigation work, right? And I have actually created a Kali Linux operating system setup here. I've created a virtual lab for myself, and I have created a couple of virtual machines which are actually hosting WordPress, and I'm trying to build websites using that. So a lot of things I'm doing with this server, and I'm happy with what I'm getting out of it. So all in all, it's a good value for money. I think $200-300 is not a bad deal, looking at what I'm getting here, and looking at the rigidness and the durability. Even if you buy secondhand, it's still good, right? That's how servers are made to be. So I don't keep it on all the while. I just turn it off in the night, and I use it in the daytime. So because it's iDRAC, right? iDRAC, like I said here, this port is controlled by iDRAC, which is when the server is turned off, you can still access it, and you can turn it on from any remote system. And I'll show you the page also how it looks like. It's a very beautiful and user-friendly interface from Dell, and you can access all the features of the server using this iDRAC port, right? iDRAC is actually a web interface. You will get all the features like turn on, turn off, upgrade BIOS, and all those things you get from there. So once you turn it on, you can access it remotely. So I keep it as it is, and I turn it off in the night. So that's all about this server, guys. Feel free to ask any questions if you have. I'll be able to answer them in the comments. But just remember, with server, it is not that you can install operating system to any of the hard drive. You should know how to configure RAID, which is also very easy. It is just a wizard. You have to select any one RAID, 10 RAID5 or RAID 1+0. Just select that, and then you select which hard drive you want to put them into RAID. For example, with me here, I have actually created two RAID. One is for these two hard drive, and the other RAID for the rest of the 6 hard drive. Plus I always have this single drive which is like a DVD, but it's actually an SSD inside. I install operating system on that. So if you don't want to install operating system on the RAID, this is the best solution. You can actually install a hard drive, and on that SSD in the DVD drive, and you can install an operating system on top of it, right? Because when you turn it on and you put a pen drive into it, right, to install the operating system, it will ask you where do you want to install, right? So you get option there that time, either this cluster where you can install as one RAID volume, or you can install here as one SSD. This is also will show up when you put your Windows pen drive into it to install Windows Server or any other operating system. You'll see this there. Okay. One more thing which I forgot. Just a quick thing. You see the small PCI slot here. Yeah, this is the one, right? This PCI slot is for a small card which you can connect here, and that card will have dual memory card slot in it. So that means you can install 2 memory cards in it, and you can have your operating system installed onto that card. So let it be ESXi, right, which is an operating system which you can install. So that is like a failover also. So one operating system is corrupted or one card is corrupted, your other operating system will pick it up. So that's a good way to have resiliency in place, and it will ensure that you have a backup also in place when you run your ESXi operating system or any other operating system from this memory card. So you have to buy that card, I guess, separately, and it is cheap also, but I don't want to go for a card because the card speed is less than your pen drive speed, and your SSD speed is far better than your card speed or your pen drive speed. So that's the reason from card or from pen drive I moved on to SSD, the best choice to install your operating system. So I hope I was able to cover all the details, but if at all I have missed anything, please do let me know. I'll be able to answer your questions, and in the next video I will turn on this server, and I will walk you through the iDRAC the iDRAC interface, how it looks like, and then I will show you how I have configured my server, installing all the virtual machine, right, Ubuntu or Linux Mint VMs there, so that my family can use it, and that way everything is like in one place and everything is being controlled and centralized. In fact, there is one virtual machine I have installed with a firewall on it, right? So IP fire, I'm sure you guys heard about it, right? So it's good because with these many network ports behind, I can actually take one port as input to the firewall, right, and the other port as an output to the firewall going into my router, right? So having a firewall, I never thought about it, but it's not that difficult. It's very easy. You just have to follow a couple of YouTube videos, and it's very user friendly, and it's very easy to install the firewalls. That's it for now, guys. I think a lot of things I have said, but do let me know if you have any questions, or if you want me to explain things in more detail to any of the points which I have explained, and I'll be more than happy to go through it again, right? Thank you so much for your time, guys. Feel free to comment a question, or probably demand any other videos you would like us to put it on the Tidbit channel. So before I disconnect, one small request: please like, share and subscribe, because that will help us put more videos on YouTube and get you more content. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Have a good day ahead. Thank you.